a lot of black fathers are like that. I don't think it's just an African thing. A lot of men are very hard, and like I said yesterday, like tough love is a thing. It's rarely you find loving dads. Dads can be very loving. I'm not going to say like a lot of men aren't loving, because they are, but it's rarely that you hear the love that you need, especially as a man, to be used to hearing that your parents love you, your dad tells you he loves you. No, he doesn't care. He's shown you affection. You know, he doesn't care who sees. He doesn't care how old you are. He'll kiss your cheek. He'll let you know that he loves you. Then your mom, and like, if you're showered so much in that love and you're brought up with that type of love, the way that you start treating people, especially in relationships, will be so different to someone that didn't have that. Now, people that aren't used to that type of affection will be more guarded when it comes to things. The lack of what they saw would then manifest into how they act and the man they tend to be in relationships. So a lot of people, like my dad was always a womanizer. I think you grow up and you kind of, it depends who you're more sided with. With me, I always saw the raft of my dad to my mum. So I was always a bit more of a mummy's boy, only because I would always see what he would be doing to her. And she would just be in it, absorbing. And no matter what, I felt like she always wanted to protect me. So wherever she would be, I would be. Like, she was just always, my mum would always want to protect me from everything. Wherever she goes, I go. And when my dad would act the way he would act, protecting me was never a priority for him. He will get angry wherever, whoever's there, he doesn't care. Like, that was just him. So I feel like I took on more of my mum's role. So then that made me become more submissive in relationships, and I became a bit more weak. I would say weak, but I think it's an inner strength to tolerate a lot of the shit that my mum tolerated from my dad and that I end up tolerating from people, especially when it comes to abuse. You accepting abuse, you know, I feel like we can perceive it as weak, because you're like, how would you let someone talk to you? But to stay and to be able to have the strength to forgive someone time and time again, that actually takes an undeniable type of strength in itself that when people don't acknowledge, because they just see someone talking to you and treat you somehow and like, you're weak. But that in itself is strength. So if you're ever in those situations and you don't feel like you're strong enough to leave, know that you have all the power you have to even consume that type of abuse. You have all the strength you need. The only thing that you're doing now is you're making excuses for yourself not to leave a situation, because you have more than enough strength. Because a lot of people can't be in situations like that. A lot of people won't be. You should not need to be in a situation like that. I'm telling you, that was a slip of the mouth. But to be able to forgive, because you do forgive that person when they're doing that. You believe they're sorry and you believe it won't happen again. You naturally believe it. I've been in a situation like that. But I'd never acknowledged it as like strength. I would always see it as weak. But to even forgive like that, there's an underlying strength there, and you have all the strength you need to get the fuck out. So for me, I was more of my mum. So I absorbed more of my mum. Some people would be more of their dad. So some people would... There's people in this world, believe it or not, that will see their dad treating their mum like that and will honestly like gravitate towards the father, because they see the dominance that he has over his mum. And a lot of people grow up wanting that dominance. So that dominance was the one thing that they liked. So that's how they will maneuver forward in treating women. Especially when you see those men that tend to be abusive, when you see those men that don't want nothing serious, that will fuck you, that will leave you there and like you're just nothing. He did what he needs to do and whatever. He will disregard you because that's the way of making him feel like he's in control. You know, there's a lot of people that hold on to that superiority complex and like making you feel so inferior. Like they like making you fear them. It turns them on. Like that is what they like. So they will beat you down to where you feel so worthless, and then they will pounce. But a lot of people are like that because him, loving what his dad was doing to his mum, right? That is an inner fear in itself. If you look at it like this, okay, I'm going to get very psychological here. I hope this sounds right, because fucking hell, I never ever plan these videos. So, basically, yeah, if you're looking at it like from, like, if you stand back, okay, when you are in a playground and you see a bully, okay, and you see the person the bully's bullying, he's big, he's bullying that person, you know, you're this, everyone's cheering. You got two types of people. You got the people that wouldn't even get involved, that will act like they don't see, and then you would get the people that will be Robin Hood of the day, okay? Sometimes a lot of people grow up as the don't see, and sometimes for people, when they don't want to get involved, it's not a thing of they're trying to mind their business genuinely. Only a small percentage of those people try and mind those that really are truly not trying to be involved. A lot of people just don't care. Like, they don't care. Like, I don't care what happens here. I have bird's eye view for here. I don't see what's going on here. Like, this is a tunnel vision for here. There's nothing else around me. I don't fucking care. That can happen. Something can blow up there. There's some people in this world that just don't care. If it's not involving them, they don't care. But then there's a percentage of people that will say they don't care, but they don't want to get involved because of the fear. So those people, that person could be the person's dad, all right? So the how he sees his mum, and he sees the dominance over his mum, and he sees his mum as weak, it's better to be on the dad's side and cheer on the dad's side, so you never ever feel like his mum. But there's a little bit of him that fears his dad as well, all right? So then that's when you find a lot of people that always find people that are weak to beat down like that. Hurt people, ultimately hurt people, because that's the only way that they will remain like they're in control of a situation, and they will never ever go to someone their own size or someone who could really give them what for. There will be someone, their boys can treat them like shit, and they'll come home and take everything out on you. There's a lot of people that have grown up like that, and I have to definitely say that everything, a lot of people say it's from relationships, but it's not. When I always got in, when I first had my first heartbreak, right, I never, it's different for me because I don't go into the next situation always thinking of the next. I kind of go into it as a new chapter. But for a period, I did remind myself of what happened before, and then when another situation wouldn't work, another situation wouldn't work, another situation wouldn't work, before I really elaborated and analysed what I could have possibly been doing wrong, because you don't really see yourself at fault when things go wrong, to be frankly honest with you, I would blame it on the first person I was with. So I'd be like, if it wasn't for that meeting that person, I wouldn't have met this person, and then this wouldn't have happened. When I really got to grips with myself and I had to trace everything back, and I started to acknowledge what I was lacking, what I was craving, what I was projecting, and why. It was from my childhood and from my parent. So everything relates back to your parents, or your lack of parents for that instance. You have to remember, the first sign of love you are shown are from your mum and dad. The first people you fall in love with is your mum and your dad. Those are the first human beings you have any interaction with on this earth to do with falling in love with anybody. It's your parents. So if anything there is not right or broken between the two, or even both, it's going to have a domino effect, because you don't know how to love. And then when you get close to a feeling, it's like fire. No, fuck this. Like, people fear it instead of allowing themselves to be open to it. Like, people don't act like it's a feeling that you're meant to have. They'll rather run a marathon than to ever get close to anyone. And that's when you find people that have multiple partners all the time, multiple partners. People start finding solace in other things because they're scared to really face that feeling. They're running away from that feeling. So they find solace in drugs and sex and partying and all these lifestyle. They become so work, oh no, I don't want to say work focused, so career orientated, like always having to fulfill something else. They've achieved this, but they need to keep going. Anything to avoid being in love with someone. They'll be the most successful people. They will have casual encounters because that's it. Sex here and there to just get their rocks off. You know, they don't care about anything else. They'll do anything to avoid that type of love. So when people lack love, they can be scared of it, which would ultimately make them people that can't commit, because they don't know how to commit. There's people that have never had it, never been in love, and because they've never experienced it, they would rather not even touch it with a barge pole because they're scared of that feeling. They're scared of feeling vulnerable. A lot of men do not like to feel vulnerable, and the problem with that can derive as well with society always having these idolized misconceptions of what a man should be and how a man should be and how a man should act and how a man should dress and how a man should talk. And on top of that, being a black man should be like this, a black man shouldn't be like this or shouldn't do this. A black man, you as a man, you're not allowed to cry, you're not allowed to show emotion, you're not allowed to do this. But yet you have people wanting the most commitment out of them, but you're having people wanting relationships, you want them to fall in love, but then when a man shows you he's vulnerable, then you criticize him. There's a lot going against a lot of us black men, to be honest. And if you aren't free enough within yourself to override all those boundaries, you're constantly going to be in a kerfuffle, and that is, you're always going to be focused around everything that is going against you despite the person that you are right here right now, because that's all that matters. Like, what you want, what you need to do, and what you need to feel and how you feel is the only thing that should be relevant, you know? Like, put yourself as a priority. You're a beautiful black man that's capable of anything that you could ever aspire to achieve. And there's a world against you. Look what's happening. Like, no one's blind. So I understand it. But when I do just think, like I've said before, like, you get to a certain age where, like, you're old enough to know what is right and what is wrong. And it's like, are you going to keep falling in that trap? Keep repeating this pattern of hurting people? Keep trying to reject anything to do with commitment? Like, I don't understand when people do stuff like that. And instead of working on yourself, you go into these situationships, right? You have kids with people, and then you fuck off and literally become the person that made you feel like that to your child. There's no excuses for stuff like that. When you're grown enough to be putting yourself in the position to be a parent, ultimately, you're a disgrace at that point, because you're repeating exactly what your parent did to you and your parent made you feel. Because there's no person that was brought up in the most loving household with you were showered with love and affection, that will go and then treat someone else like that. So evidently, somewhere along your childhood, you was broken. From one way or another, you lacked love. You didn't see love. You didn't feel love. It was something to you. So when you grow up now as an adult and you're there fucking around with people and their hearts and their emotions, when is it that you actually can take accountability for what you're doing? It's another thing. As much as you can sit here and we can disciple all the points of what makes us us and where our lack of love can come from and our lack of commitment can come from, where do you take responsibility for your actions of how you're treating people? There's some people that know that they like this, you know, and they won't talk. This is the thing. Oh my God. The main thing in our community as well is communication. Oh, we don't talk. Black men do not talk. They don't talk. They'll be aggressive before they can show emotion. And it's annoying. But then, on the flip side of things, you have people that anytime they talk, they get judged, or they don't have anyone they feel like they can talk to or they can express themselves to. So it's all kind of fucked up on all areas, because as much as you can say this and you can say that, everyone's situation is different. But I think I can make a part 2 of this video, but I'm going to end it here because it's getting long. I'm going to end it with, if you're a parent and you watch this channel, or if you're going to be a parent, or if you want to be a parent, please, despite what you lacked, despite what you've gone through, love the fuck out of your kids. Never be ashamed to tell your child you love them. Kiss them. I don't care if he's a 29-year-old man, gangster, he wants to be the thug of the East. Show your children that you love them. Never ever let a day go past without you telling your kids, especially as black kids, especially as black men, how much you love them and how much you're proud of them, because it helps. The lack of that is just, you don't understand the repercussions, honestly. Very lucky for myself, to be honest, but it's very important. And then everyone else, don't be so scared of commitment. Don't be so scared to love. It's a beautiful feeling. Like, you can't avoid hurt. I keep telling people this. I feel like this is the most. I've preached that so much times. My God, the last 2 months, it's unbelievable how much people are told that. Like, people are like, so scared of commitment. They don't want to be hurt. Like, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Regardless, I said yesterday, you're going to be hurt. You're going to be. But it's about the way that you handle it. You don't go into situations already anticipating the worst. Who does that? You don't do that. Otherwise, you're just going to get what you're putting out. Hello? My God, you don't want to get hurt? Don't think about it. And if it happens, you will deal with it, because you'll be strong enough to deal with it. You're capable of it. Oh, you don't go into situations being scared of being hurt. That's just like being scared of life. Can't avoid it. It's gonna happen regardless. It's gonna happen regardless. So just don't be scared to be vulnerable. Don't be scared to be open. Just don't. And if you feel like you're not capable of doing that, don't work on yourself to the point where you can fall in love with yourself and you are capable of giving that love to someone else. Because it's so unfair to keep bringing people into you when you're already so damaged and you're so broken within, and you know that you haven't got the capacity to love someone the way they deserve to love right now. Don't put someone else through that trauma, because there's no worse a feeling in this world than heartbreak. Heartbreak is horrendous. And then I can't even imagine a woman going through it having children. Like, I can't. So my granddad broke my nan's heart, and she ended up being single for the next 53 years of her life until she died. Crazy. So please, you don't understand what heartbreak can do to someone. So it may be all fun and games. If you want just sex with people, go out with people you just want sex with. You can happily live your life, no commitment, be the bachelor you want to be, bachelorette, or you want to be, or whatever. Live your life. Who cares? Live it freely. But don't involve people when you know their intentions are far more and they deserve way more than what you have the capacity to give. And you have that capacity to give love. You just don't want to give that love. And if you know that you don't want to, then that kind of makes you incapable of being with someone else, actually. So really, you should work on yourself and get to love yourself, fall in love with yourself so deeply that you're able to give someone all of you instead of aspects of you, because no one deserves that. No one deserves pieces when you're getting a whole platter in your face. No. So I hope this video helps someone, and I don't think I need to make a part 2 to it. I feel like I could, but I don't know where I would go with that. But keep your suggestions coming, because it's really, really, really helping me. Oh my god, especially if you guys keep wanting this daily content. Oh, I need more suggestions coming. But I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for constantly being here. I appreciate you. I wish you the most amazing day. Oh, I found out today. Happy Mother's Day. My god, it's so dumb that in London we have a different Mother's Day to everyone else. I was like, Jesus Christ. Before I wish anyone else Happy Mother's Day, I need to understand if I've wished my own, because I don't understand. I feel like I've had 2. I don't know if I'm having deja vu, if I'm having anxiety. It's annoying. But Happy Mother's Day to all you guys and all your mums. And I hope you guys continue to be safe and well during this hard time that we're dealing with. I love you once again. Stay blessed. I wish you guys prosperity beyond measure. And I shall see you in tomorrow's video. Bye, guys. Bye.